it's actually a really positive challenge at the Climate Summit, because as climate and renewables and all of those things have become much more important in our industry, we've seen now that actually we're on our third Cold Chain Federation Climate Summit. It's gone from small to medium, and in just 3 years it's now a pretty big event. All the major players in renewables are here, all the major players in our operator community are here as well, because there's just a massive take-up now, particularly in terms of interest. How do we find this out? What do we do? What are the main challenges? And we now have government and government-sponsored reports saying this is becoming more and more important. So Climate Summit number 4, I don't know where it will be, I don't know how big it will be, but at the same time it's a very positive challenge for us, and it's going really, really well. The engagement's very high now. Yeah, it has. We only launched that in 2024. So that was the Federation's very first attempt at supporting the next generation. And actually that links very much with the Climate Summit and renewables and what's happening to the planet, because whilst our generation in the industry are making these great strides in terms of how we adopt renewable energy, the real challenge is going to be for the next generation. So the next generation is going to have to take up that challenge in earnest, because let's be honest, we know the world's not getting healthier in terms of its climate, and in terms of being able to feed people and give them vital life-saving medicines, that's going to be temperature control. But the pressure, because of our climate change, the pressure on that means that the next generation are going to have an even harder challenge. We're just trying to make that challenge as easy as possible today. So last year we had good take-up. We are going to announce 2 more emerging leaders or emerging leader bursaries today. That will make us 4 emerging leader bursaries. And so far the feedback on those is we're being challenged. We're being challenged to actually step up and become leaders for the first time, not managers or not operators, actual leaders. And we've got a program around those people for a whole year, which allows them to test their leadership, including joining climate change leaders here today, and joining our board and presenting to our board and actually engaging with that. Where will we go from here? Well, we announced another 2 emerging leader winners in October at Cold Chain Live, and that means that the 4 that we will have running this year will be handing over that baton to the other 2. And then what we hope over the next few years is that we will then have a cohort of future leaders who will actually be engaging with the Federation and the industry to really take those challenges forward and start to own them. So is it going well? It's going better than I expected. And I think it's just going to gain traction and traction and traction from here on. The thing about emerging leaders, I think there's an assumption that it has to be a young person. And actually, the emerging leader could be anyone, because in our industry, we've got a great track record of taking people who are on their second careers. We've got a great track record of taking people who are coming in at different levels and different ages. So I have to admit that the people who currently are on those emerging leader programs and bursaries tend to be young, but you don't have to be. It's open to anybody in our industry. Whatever part of that industry you're in, it's open to anybody in that industry that actually can see themselves just going into a leadership position or wanting to go into a leadership position. So no age barrier, no qualification barrier. You don't have to have them. You just have to have the passion to be someone who's going to make changes and lead in our industry in the future. After the Climate Summit, which is what's bringing us all here today, what we are going to do is then start to announce the next emerging leader bursaries, which will be awarded in October. And that will effectively, you've got the summer of 2025 to put those applications in. What it requires, though, is sponsors. So we need our companies, our current leaders, to say that person there is going to be one of our leaders of the future. And they need to be the ones that are proactively promoting those people. Those people aren't necessarily, the winners, should I say, aren't necessarily going to be the people that apply, although they can do. But they will need to be sponsored by their company as well. So look out for the announcement on our website and on our news channels. And then you've got the summer then to see whether actually you're going to be the recipient of an Emerging Leader Bursary. And that Emerging Leader Bursary is a week-long leadership program, and we work in partnership with the Leadership Trust to deliver that. It will be interventions with me as the Chief Executive of the Federation. We will then introduce them to all of our leadership programs, Climate Summit, Cold Chain Live, parliamentary reception where they can understand how we're interacting with politicians in order to promote our industry and protect our industry. And they'll then get an understanding of really quite how important our industry is to the health of this nation. So there's lots to do for them, and it's a very exciting program. And I would say you're not going to get another chance like this. So make sure that your company and you are putting yourselves forward.